Okay, way back in 2001 is when we did the J Bell hitting as a guest video. And we did two sections of that. One was the tee, where we had exit velocities. And to my knowledge, that was the very first um, public display of the use of exit velocity. And we had some crude equipment that I know is not entirely accurate, but it was the best that we could do at that time. The idea was to figure out a way to measure stuff because we knew that if we could measure it, we could make it better. And so we measured Jay with 30 swings off the tee and 30 swings live. We didn't have exit velocities live. That didn't even exist at that moment in time because there was no um, radar gun that would allow that to happen. So we had to come up with a live pitch test, and what we used was the Trajectangle. And it was based entirely around what everyone is talking about right now, which is the idea that trajectory has a lot to do with exit velocity. So when we tested exit velocity off the tee, we knew that anything within about 10 degrees was going to be somewhere near that maximum for that player. As soon as we started to get to about 20 degrees, we created a new measurement, and that was called a 4. Whether it went up or down, it was going to be within about 20 degrees was going to be that 4. And those are the balls that we know are hit the most for homers, are the ones that are leaving at these trajectories. Between a 4 and a 3 was where we knew most of the home runs were going to happen. So the idea of the Trajectangle was just a way for us to create a measuring tool for live pitches, live pitch batting practice. So what we did with Jay was we had an average, and what his average over those 30 balls was 3.7, which is a pretty good Trajectangle rating. And on average, he was hitting it just a little bit below center. In other words, he was hitting more ground balls than he was fly balls on average. So his average hit was 3.7, and it was below center. So it was a ground ball. And then we did some adjustments to the things that we know create trajectory. And in the latter rounds, he went to a 4.3, which is actually extremely impressive that that's going to go up. But the most impressive thing was it went from being an average ground ball, line drive to a ground ball, to being a line drive to slightly elevated, or a 4. So that's what we were after, was we were trying to figure out a way to get more balls heading in the direction of balls that were going to do damage. And that was the entire thought process behind creating the Trajectangle. And that was again 2001. There's a bunch of things that cause that, because that's what this video was all about, was the idea of what causes trajectory to happen. And there's three basic areas. There's more than that, but these are the ones that we focused on when we did the work with Jay. The first one was grip, and the idea was to try to get the grip going, making the hands go in the same direction. In most grips, especially grips with a high elbow, you're going to see this top hand kind of go in that direction, and the bottom hand goes in the opposite direction. So when those two are going in different directions, they're going to cause the bat to go in different directions. So you're going to get the barrel to go down at the beginning, and then as it starts to go up, it has a tendency to jump. And that's one of the causes for what makes you not hit line drives and not hit the ball consistently solid. So when the grip is perfect, you're going to get the maximum amount of time that the barrel is in line with the pitch that's coming in. That's the idea of this whole thing. And that's what causes trajectory, is the line that the barrel is traveling, period. End of discussion. The key is what is it that causes the barrel to get out of line? And these are the things that cause it. The head tilting, if you try to put your head down at impact, tilting your head causes that shoulder line to tilt. And when the shoulder line tilts, the more it tilts the barrel. And the more the barrel tilts, the more it gets out of the line of the pitch, period. That's just one of those things that causes it. Now, is it possible to swing the bat level with your head tilted? Yes, but you have to do it. It's not natural. Whenever the head tilts, there's a strong tendency that the shoulders will tilt, and that will dictate where the barrel goes. And then the backside collapsing. When this back knee collapses, when you squish the bug, when the back foot just stops pushing forward, the backside collapses, and that forces the shoulder to go down. It has no choice. Can you go against it? Yes, to some degree, but no matter what you do, when your backside doesn't work efficiently, you are going to have an issue with contact. It's just the way it is. The backside has to release to get the maximum amount of time in line with the ball. It's that simple. Now, what we did was test it. I got tired of arguing about mechanics because you say this in front of a bunch of people and you get all kinds of crazy arguments. And I just got tired of the arguments, and so I started testing things. And that was the whole idea of the trajectangle. The trajectangle is a way that you can't argue. As soon as you fix those things in the swing, instead of getting numbers like this and ground balls, you start to get numbers like this, and you get high line drives and high fly ball misses and missiles that are hard ground ball misses. Whatever you do causes where the ball goes off your bat. And so depending on how good you are at each of those things that I just described will determine what kind of trajectories you're hitting off the bat. And it really is that simple. It doesn't matter if it's live or it's off the tee or whatever. But the idea of the trajectangle is very old, and it's about time that guys started catching up, because again, the argument was made a long time ago, and the answer was derived a long time ago. It's not brand new. This is not new. This is very old, and it's all about understanding what causes it. But when you look at most of the sabermetric studies, they're going to end with, well, we're not sure how you can control that. And this video was entirely based around exactly how you control that. We went from that to that in about 45 minutes. Why? Because the game plan was to do that. We worked on the grip, we worked on the backside release, and we worked on the head tilt. When those three things were different, this was different. It really is that simple. But it's not new.